Yeah.
Well, you're on, so you better be.
Hey guys. Right. This is, well, intentionally this is our final part, but
Yes.
it depends how long it takes us to get through.
The best and worst matches of this year, and we've compiled lists. These are lists.
Yeah, this isn't a nominees discussion thing. We have gone from the 10 worst to the
10 to 1. You get it.
That's what I meant.
Right, we're going to start with worst, because
Yeah.
we want to end on a high. So 10th is, this was a match from Raw. It was Jillian versus Mickie James. Mickie James is about to get moved to Smackdown, so they need her to lose the title. So they picked Jillian.
Yeah, now what we didn't understand about this was there was no reasoning behind picking Jillian. It was,
Also, Jillian won remarkably clean.
I know,
Like,
I mean-
she put her foot on the ropes, but at the same time the commentators said, oh, that powerbomb knocked Mickie James out. So she just beat Mickie James.
I know, like, it was just, why?
Then Melina comes out, and as we said before, Melina and Jillian's chemistry is so appalling, and it proved true once again. Horrendous. Melina wins the title. Who cares?
Now, 9th we have Kane against the Great Khali at SummerSlam.
This is the better of Kane and Khali's 2 matches. Guess
Yeah.
what's coming later?
Yeah, and this was the one that Kane won with a DDT. Literally the only good thing about their feud was that Kane won both times, but at the same time, any
wants that?
any feud where I could say it's good that Kane won this must be horrendous.
Matt Hardy versus CM Punk on SmackDown. This was like Matt Hardy's return match, I think. Oh my god, I've never seen such a dreary match in all my life.
How many leg drops?
How many people can continue to claim that CM Punk is a bad wrestler and Matt Hardy is a good wrestler? I mean,
There is nothing good about Matt Hardy in the ring. He's terrible.
appalling.
And next we had
Mark Henry versus
the Big Show on Raw. We have what is the immovable object meets the unstoppable force, or
something like that.
and it was just the slow. It felt like it went on for about 7 years. It was terrible, and all these horrible bits with the Big Show headbutting Mark Henry, but being like, "Ooh, I can't headbutt Mark Henry," and it was just
because his head must be strong. That's the bit he works out.
It was just unquestionably awful.
6. Mickie James versus Maryse, Night of Champions. Now, anyone who saw this match will know exactly what I'm talking about. I would give this match a 1/4 star. This was... Right, Maryse was injured. Maryse is terrible. Maryse and Mickie James have no chemistry. All those things together created one of the worst matches I've ever seen. But only 6 of it this year's. That doesn't make any sense. Never mind.
So next we
5th,
have
John Cena versus the Big Show.
the submission match at Extreme Rules. Any near 20-minute submission match involving the Big Show, who had to pick a submission hold because he didn't have any already, and then picked a camel clutch.
There are also Full Nelsons, the Master Lock.
I know, but this,
Sleeper holds, all that sort of
and
thing.
the thing was like the whole build up to this was, oh, John Cena can't lock the STF on the Big Show. He clearly could. Like, blatantly was going to be able to do
4th,
that.
William Regal versus Christian from SummerSlam.
This made me.
This is 10 seconds.
8 seconds. Get it right.
People, did anyone like this? Did anyone think this was good? This was horrendous. The Kane Khali had a match. They had a match on the same pay-per-view. A whole match!
I know, and it was the fact that like this match could have been really, really good as well, and it was unusual for ECW. They'd actually built it up quite well, and just an absolute waste.
3, John Cena versus The Miz. Now The Miz had built himself up in a Chris Jericho's type way because Cena hadn't been there and The Miz had just built himself up and the crowd fucking hated him. And that was what he was supposed to do. Cena squashes him in 6 minutes.
And then Jerry Lawler just goes, "I told you the Miz was shit."
2nd, Kane versus the Great Khali, a Singapore Kane match.
Poor being the operative.
At breaking point.
The operative
This was like negative 2 stars.
The
I thought this was like I thought this would be better. I just didn't watch it, and I did the review and just said it was better because I assumed it would be.
But I watched it, and it was just the fact that the highlight of the match, when you can say the highlight of this match was the worst chokeslam I've ever seen.
Triple H versus Randy Orton, WrestleMania 25 is number 1. This was a negative 5-star match.
It really
this
was.
was the worst match I have ever seen. And the booking, sure, the booking was shit, but the match was terrible. It was horribly booked. Triple H refused to look weak. was like all over the place. They went outside, the camera work was terrible, and I remember Lillian Garcia had to run across the front of the camera. They're like, "Get out of the way, Lillian!"
It was just awful.
And as I said earlier, Triple H knew he was doing wrong here. He knew Randy Orton should have won this match. That's why he won with the sledgehammer. A face winning by cheating makes no sense.
It was just... But it was the fact that Triple H won at all that made no sense. Like...
Terrible, terrible, terrible. Best matches of this year. The negative is done. All good now. CM Punk versus John Morrison, Smackdown.
The third of their matches.
This was their third match, I think. The best bit about this match was when Morrison went to do a sunset flip powerbomb to the outside, and Punk just rammed his knee into Morrison's throat.
Yeah, it was
a great match.
Brilliant. Then we have Kofi Kingston against Randy Orton at TLC. Really good.
Some people didn't like this match at all. We thought it was 4 stars.
Yeah.
I thought this was a really good match.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this. Kofi looked great. Randy Orton looked great.
And Randy Orton got to win, which made sense booking wise. It was good.
Christian versus Jack Swaggers at number 8. ECW title. This is the one Christian loses. It was on ECW itself, and this was so good.
Mm-hmm.
This was ridiculous. This was like as good as you could make a match without putting a spot in it.
This is how I don't understand that Christian is still festering away on ECW, and Jack Swagger has been moved to Raw, but is even more badly festering away there.
Edge versus John Morrison, Smackdown. I fucking loved this match.
This is the only match on our list which is just a random match.
Yeah,
totally
there's no
random.
reason. You know, this wasn't for a title. This wasn't a pay-per-view. This was just like, we're gonna put Edge versus John Morrison. Let's see what happens. What happened was genius.
Mm-hmm.
It was genius.
Brilliant.
Edge won clean, which I liked, but Morrison looked strong as hell. And although Morrison is quite often a bit sloppy in the ring, he was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, he pulled it out of the bag.
Edge versus John Cena, Backlash. This was a great last man standing match.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really aggressive. The only thing that spoiled this was the ending.
The Big Show appearing at the end was kind of frustrating, but you know, it is what it is. The match itself was great.
John Morrison versus Rey Mysterio, Intercontinental title. This was a really different match. This is probably the most different match to any match on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a conventional wrestling match, but they did a lot of stuff you just don't see. A lot of nice chain work and stuff. It was really good.
This was our TV taping match of the year, and
Yeah.
I'd just like to point out that we think that John Morrison was probably the TV performer of the year.
by a
Just
long way.
no pay-per-view spots, really.
John Cena versus Randy Orton. I quit at breaking point.
Some of you hated this.
Some of you thought this was boring. I thought this was... For anyone who complains about a PG rating, say, having someone beat someone with a kendo stick to the extent that you can actually watch as bruising develops on his body, that was the least PG thing I have ever seen. This match was really good. And sure, Cena won, but Cena won in the correct way, if you ask me.
This match did what it set out to do.
Really good. Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho, Mask versus Intercontinental title from the Bash.
Beautiful.
This
Absolutely
was the
beautiful.
culmination of their feud. Top rope code breaker is what I remember best from
Yeah.
this. Oh god, that was good.
It was so good.
The Raw Elimination Chamber from No Way Out. How could this match be good?
I know, it had Kane and Mike Knox in it. Mike Knox is in our second best match of the year. What?
4 3/4 stars. Awesome.
But it was largely because
Beautifully
because they got rid of Mike Knox and Kane pretty much immediately.
And then they got rid of Cena in the most glorious way imaginable. You had Edge come in at the start, which was just beautiful. I mean, this match had so many beautiful
and then at the
moments
end, you had like well over 5 minutes of Edge and Rey Mysterio just having a great match against each other.
And you were like, oh, right, well, if we know Edge is going to win, now Cena's out. And then it was like, oh my god, Rey Mysterio's going to win, Rey Mysterio's going to win.
I know, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Now we have our number one best match of the year.
There are no surprises.
Guess what this is? It's got to be the unquestionable 5-star match. Hear that, Meltzer? Unquestionable 5-star match that was The Undertaker against Shawn Michaels at
WrestleMania 25.
My god.
You want to know something? You want to know the great thing about this match? The first 5 minutes were awful.
They were terrible.
They were awful.
I know.
I mean, maybe that's why people are giving it 4 3/4 stars. The first 5 minutes were awful.
We were like,
This
oh
was
no.
genius.
We were like, oh no, this is gonna... And then it just got so good.
At every other point this year when a match has been set up in our expectations, it's underdelivered.
Mm-hmm.
This match, we set it so high in our expectations, and it was better.
I know. It was the fact that Shawn Michaels managed to have a better match at WrestleMania this year than he did at WrestleMania last year, and that was a great match. Like,
Michaels kicking out the tombstone, Undertaker doing that leap over the top rope.
he nearly broke his neck.
The ending was great. Everything in between was great. This was perfect. This was just, well, it wasn't perfect, but it was damn close.
Damn close.
It was, one of the top 5 best matches I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. You could definitely argue it for it being the best match of all time.
And you could. It's an argument. It definitely is. Anyway, that was our awards for this year.
Yes. So cheers for sticking with us, guys, and let us know what you think. Do you agree? Do you massively disagree?
I'm sure there will be some massive disagreements.
My heart is good. Let's see. Prove me wrong, people. Prove me wrong.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Take care.